Hello, welcome to a new video of Dynasty War. Today I'm going to talk about Huang Zhong. Huang Zhong has a very unique ability in terms of 7-star. He is the only one that has this type of skill that can snipe out buildings from afar and does a pretty big amount of damage to the surrounding as well. But I know before we talk about the skill, we need to talk about the partnership because his damage partnership is very difficult to get. He needs Guan Yu, Zhao Yun, Ma Chao, and Zhang Fei. Now, all of them are 7-star. Two of them is unparalleled 7-star. So in order to get Huang Zhong to the maximum damage you want to have, you need to invest in two unparalleled 7-star hero, which is it could be very luck. You could be very lucky and get it in a couple of try, or it could be very unlucky and you have to use 30 7-star regen in order to get each of them. So, and that is the only damage partnership that he has. So there's no way to make him stronger unless you get all four of the 7-star. The other two are HP partnership, which are useful as well, but not really that useful because if you're looking at Huang Zhong in the early game, you're really looking at his ability. You really want to use his skill effectively, and it will be only affected by the damage partnership. And honestly, early game you probably don't even care that much about his HP, so if he dies, doesn't matter as long as you use his active skill. So his active skill will release 6 special arrows to the target areas, with each arrow causing 1800 damage. That's a lot, 1800 damage for level 50 7-star common 7-star hero. However, you have to account for the fact that there's a 30% extra damage from the partnership. Without that, level 10, I think it stops at a little bit below 1500. So my recommendation for Huang Zhong is just get it up to level 3, and that's enough at an early game, obviously. Level 3 skill without the damage partnership at least level 49 for him. He will be able to one-shot level 1 Purgatory Tower, and that's very important in early game. If Huang Zhong is like the first, second, or third 7-star hero you get, you really your biggest enemy is the Purgatory Tower, and then they probably are level 1. So at level 3 skill, when level 49 himself, his skill does a little bit over 1200, so that's enough to destroy a Purgatory Tower, a level 1 Purgatory Tower in one hit. And he's probably the easiest hero to use to do that because his skill has a pretty big range, and you can easily target the Purgatory Tower and destroy it. So in this video, I'll also talk about the technical side of his skill to show where will those 6 arrows hit, and what is the range of those arrows, and how many buildings can it actually hit per arrow, and what's the chance of hitting the same building with more than one arrow doing more damage. So I'll talk about it right now. So I've done an experiment on Huang Zhong's skill, and I've done this in the Guojia's video as well, where I record the location of the arrow and the damage dealt for each arrow. And right here I put all of them in a graph in here so that we could see the location, the spread of his skill, and what's the chance of hitting at least 2 Huang Zhong's arrow. So right here, the purple triangle is Huang Zhong, and the 0, the star, is the target of Huang Zhong. However, the 6 arrows, it goes in this order. The first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth, and sixth. That's how his skill will hit. And these stars indicate the location of the arrow. The animation always hit these locations compared to or relative to the targeted location. However, the damage is not guaranteed to be at the location of the animation of the arrow. So again, this is similar to Guojia's skill. The damage will be applied to 2 or 3 tiles depending on randomness. So for the first arrow, even though you're targeting this location, but it is a second arrow. But the first arrow, it hits up to 6 tiles to the left of the original target, and it has a pretty big range, actually, not small at all, in this area. And then the second arrow will be targeted at the building that Huang Zhong is targeting, and it has a very small range because it is almost guaranteed that, and it should guarantee that it will hit, at least one arrow will hit the target that Huang Zhong is targeting. Then the third arrow is to the right. The animation is 4 tiles to the right, but it actually done damage closer to Huang Zhong as well. And then the fourth hero has a very, very small range to the very to the left and behind the original target. And then the fifth arrow is just right behind the original target. And the sixth arrow actually is very close to the third and the fifth arrow. And again, in here, we can take a box, which is a building in here, and put it next to, or put it on this chart to see the chance of hitting multiple arrows. So if, let's say, again, we have 4x4, which is a headquarter, if you're able to target the target relative to the headquarter like this, it has a high chance that it will hit at least 2 arrows. Obviously, in here you can see there's 4 arrows, 4 damage from 4 different arrows inside this box. However, there is only one chance, a small chance from the 4th arrow, and small chance from the 5th arrow, but a bigger chance from the first arrow and the 2nd arrow. So this has a big chance, a very high chance of getting at least 2 arrows from Huang Zhong's skill. And from here you can see that theoretically you can get at least 4 arrows shot to the same building, well, to a headquarter, because headquarter is big enough. And if you look at smaller buildings, the general buildings are 3x3, and if you want to hit a 3x3, it's obviously harder. But if you can put a 3x3 right here compared to your target, it is almost guaranteed you can hit 2 arrows on here. And similarly, right here, this location is easy to get at least 2 arrow, and right here. So Huang Zhong's skill is actually easier to land at least 2 arrows to the same building compared to Guojia, and he actually does more damage than Guojia's skill as well, even without the partnership, the damage partnership. So if you know where to target and where to plan to attack and to use his skill, you can easily do twice the damage of the skill to one single building. Because this box right now is a 3x3, and there is a lot of location where I could put this where it will be in at least 2 arrows range. So this is something that you can keep in mind when using Huang Zhong's to attack, because his skill is useful, very useful in many cases. But if you don't know where to look at and where to target, or you don't know how far the spread of his skill, sometimes you might miss, and it will not even hit the thing that you hit, because obviously both Huang Zhong and Guojia's skill, they're oriented toward the left side. You can see the right side right here, there is not much from here, but right here there is more damage dealt. And similar to Guojia's skill, as we talked about last time, his 6 eyes actually target to the very left side compared to the relative target. And again, in here, the left side actually has more range, more area, more spread compared to the right side. So this is it for Huang Zhong's skill. And this video, we'll talk about how to use Huang Zhong and Guojia together in the next video. I'll see you there. Bye bye.